A few weeks ago, GRIDLIFE iRacers Quarantine Cup began in Austin, Texas, on the twists and turns of Circuit of the Americas. Last week, we took on Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio, and for round number 3 of 4, we head to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia. Welcome to GRIDLIFE and the GRIDLIFE Quarantine Cup Series. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined again by Adam Jabay for our third of 4 rounds of the Quarantine Cup Series at the 2.54-mile Road Atlanta. Adam, so glad to have you back again this week. We're taking on one of the most spectacular road courses in the United States, and tonight we're going to have over 60 drivers trying to get narrowed down to a 40-car feature race at the end of the night.
A beautiful strip of asphalt here down in Georgia. One of my favorite places to drive. Kind of an intimidating place, and I can't believe the parity and the cutoff for the top 60 that we have seen in the rumor mill. What are we looking at as far as competition tonight?
So we've got over 60 drivers, actually 82 drivers that attempted to qualify this race. The top 5 were Rob Casera, Kenton Cook, Jack Tranter, Robert Hartley, and Erica Till. The top 5, that was the top 5 there, but the cutoff to get into this race was a 1:38.9, which we're going to see times very close to that as we head through the rest of the night here, Adam, but very tight competition as always. Again, 60 drivers made it into the server, and the top 40 will be what race at the end of the night. We'll go over the format here in just a second, but how about we take a look at our track guide for tonight's event. And this racetrack, we're very familiar with it here in GRIDLIFE, Adam, the 2.54-mile Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, 12 turns around this course. The first turn, a right-hander uphill, very steep, very wild, the first sector through here.
Very fast, very fast section, faster than it looks on the map. You can see that elevation change right there. It's that turn 12 down to turn 1 complex. That's a party right there. You've got all the wild walls of turn 12 to turn 1, and then the high-speed right-hander.
There's a lot of really interesting sections on this racetrack. One of the great American road courses, in my opinion. Very similar, I think, in construction to tracks like Watkins Glen, with those fast sweeping corners and some tight corners to challenge you in the braking zones, especially down there turns 10A and B, the final chicane, to set you up a really good passing opportunity into the last sector to set up a lap here. So we're practicing right now. We've got about 7 minutes and 40 seconds left, and we'll take another look at what the format is going to be here tonight, Adam. Earlier tonight, we had open qualifying up to 120 drivers. We had 82 try to get in. We took the top 60, so 22 drivers did not make it in. Then, in about 7 minutes, we're going to heat qualify. So that's going to split our field into 2 30-driver heats. Odd drivers and evens, the top 15 will advance straight to the feature in each heat. And then the bottom 15 will head to a 30-car last chance qualifier, where we'll take the last 10, or the top 10 rather, and throw those at the bottom of the feature race. So our top 40 drivers will make it into the event. So again, a lot to keep an eye on tonight, but I always love watching these battles for 15th place in the heats. Adam, last week at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, I think the battle for 15th was the best battle on the racetrack, and I think we're going to see a lot of the same tonight.
So it was super fun to watch the multiple short format races. They do make it exciting, better than the long big ones. I think looking at the cutoff areas was a good time last week, and even at Circuit of the Americas. I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch. This track brings out the wild in a lot of drivers. People get rowdy, especially when the consequences of hitting the walls don't quite as much exist. This is a wild circuit.
It certainly is, and I think we're looking at one of the corners right now that is probably one of the more daunting ones when you first arrive here at this racetrack. A several-story drop from top to bottom here in turn 12 at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. You're flying down the hill on the edge of control. You come by this flag stand. There's about 2 feet of curb, a couple yards of grass, and then that about 10-foot tall concrete wall. There's a little bit of tire barrier there to catch you, but it is a painful place to go off. You see another driver there just dancing with disaster at the edge of that curb. So going to see that be an issue tonight, as well as turn number 3, the big right-hand corner with the chungus curb, as I called it earlier in the pre-race, Adam. You got to really take a big chunk of that to be fast here.
Getting all over top of that turn 3 section, that it results in quite the jump. Upsets the car just a tiny bit, but also plants the outside wheels. It's a cool section of track. They have since in real life changed this section just a little bit, obviously adding a little bit of inside where the cars are kind of airborne over top of that. That's a smooth transition with some concrete now, just to prevent degradation of the actual terrain. But in real life and in iRacing, this is as we're seeing over and over. This is a harrowing turn.
It certainly is. Some of the drivers we have to keep an eye on tonight at the front of the field will be drivers like Ken Alseal, the number 23. He's going to certainly be fast, as he always is. Kenton Cook, another one of the drivers that was inside the top 5 in the open qualifying earlier tonight. Pepto-Bismol car, currently 7th in the practice warm-up right now. Rob Casera in the 177, right now the quickest on the board with a 137.3, 137.3. That'll probably stand for a little while. The draft's going to be so important in these low-powered 180 horsepower Miatas.
Yeah, and also not the most aerodynamic cars. Draft is going to be huge. And Spec Miata itself, in the real world, Spec Miata seems to be playing a lot with draft track by track dependency. I don't know exactly what the preferred method of drafting in Spec Miata here is, but typically it's like a 2 or 3 car is the fastest line, depending on the track. I think Daytona was a 3-car draft, was a little bit faster than a 2-car draft, and also faster than a 4-car draft. So we will we'll see what the racers come up with and what the preferred method of buddy hugs are here on that big long straightaway. That is one big straightaway between 7 and 12.
And we're going to take a look at it here in just a second. Here, the exit of turn 7, probably the most crucial corner on this racetrack. I'm not sure that it matters quite as much if you're following somebody here, because the draft will bring you back in, but you head down the straightaway and it feels like you're on it forever. Then you head into one of the biggest braking zones on this course, Adam. The hard braking down to 3rd gear for turns 10A and 10B. Really your final passing opportunity before the end of the lap.
Yeah, that's a harrowing place also, especially your very first lap when a Porsche 930 Turbo passes you at like 180 miles an hour and you're still lost, which was my experience. It's a really cool place to drive, and it's the track that I drove most in iRacing when I was using it as a tool to prep for track events. So I do enjoy driving this track in iRacing quite a bit.
All right, so but just under 3 minutes left in practice. Take a quick look at the weather. We'll look at this again before the racing starts this evening, but right now the track surface 111 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a bit toasty out there right now, as we always know this area of Georgia can get, so we're going to keep an eye on the weather as the night goes on, but it should be hot, should be sticky out there, as Eric Cattill's battling right now with, I believe that is the number 4 car of Ito Waxman. He's got his Autocross Digits card. It's been so cool to watch these drivers kind of fit their sponsors and liveries on these cars the last couple weeks. You know, Rob Wilkinson has been doing plenty of that for most of the drivers in this field, including DJ Alessandrini, who is currently on track. And we went over this last week, Adam, but how beautiful is that car?
It's so wild looking. It also looks very unique. It's not your typical race car livery, and that really works. I just love how it looks.
Turn 5 exit. This is going to be an interesting corner for sure. I think we saw this, if you're familiar with Sim TV, the Rodenzo Sports Car Challenge was here a couple weeks ago. The exit of turn 5, there's that big exit curb. It's bumpy out there. These cars, especially on cold tires, not a lot of pressure built up. They're going to be squirrely these first couple laps. A lot of drivers describe this car as acting like a hovercraft on cold tires, so slipping and sliding over the exit curb is going to be a wild night, especially on the first few laps.
Yeah, I think Brad Adams posted a video from on Facebook about an hour ago of what looked like a car that was, you or somebody recently said, with the dinner trays on the back wheels.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to see how drivers deal with that tonight. Just over a minute left in practice. A couple more drivers we should talk about. Chris Boersma in the number 21 car. Again, he is a time attack driver that's kind of going wheel to wheel here on the sim racing side. He's currently down in 20th place. But again, how impressive is the competition right now? We have 35 drivers within 2 seconds. And that's incredible, considering that this is an open setup series and they've only been in here for about 15 minutes. And we know it's going to get closer and closer as the night goes on.
There's so many drivers. We're gonna see a real battle going into turn 1 here. That's my most anticipated section is the first turn of every race, especially here. You can go 3 cars wide, but it's kind of gnarly.
Well, and that exit curb there's not a whole lot there to catch you. And if you go off in turn 1 at Road Atlanta, you're going to go for a ride. There's just all grass, and you feel as if like your car just picks up 20 miles an hour before you get to find the tire barriers or the concrete over there. Not a lot of barrier to catch you if you make a mistake.
Yeah, I haven't looked at data, but I would imagine they are entering turn one probably in the high 80 or low 90 mile an hour range. And there's a long way to go when you get into that green stuff.
Yeah, we're trying to find someone right now that is closer to turn one, but we'll jump around a little bit, see if we can find somebody. There's Zach Rubens on board. Get a little bit of a look at how fast we are going into turn one, but we'll ride on board with Eric Catil. The practice is over, though, so I guess we'll look at it in qualifying here in just a minute. But we're going to see speeds well over 125, almost nearing 130 in the draft, as Catil's going to send it for a slide as the session completes here. And we'll time to go qualifying now. So again, how we're going to do this, look at the format once more. Let's be off screen for you, Adam. But we're going to take the odd drivers and put them in one heat, and the evens and put them in another, and then we'll take the top 15 of each. So right now, the drivers that are going to be first, third, fifth, seventh, and so on, those will be the first heat. Second, fourth, sixth, eighth, and so on will be in the second heat tonight. Then the bottom 15 from each of those heat races will head to the LCQ to battle for a top 10 spot to move on to the feature. So qualifying underway. Let's ride on board here with Eric Catil in his number 82 Auto Assets and GridLife sponsored MX-5 as he heads down the hill here. We'll get a look at the telemetry and see what we're seeing here in terms of speeds. Again, I'm going to warm those tires up, get some grip in them. See what gear selection he's using.
Yeah, we get to spy on old cool kid Catil here.
And he was one of the drivers at the GridLife Touring Cup races last August that went from 33rd to 3rd in race 2, I believe it was, after having all of his fuses pop out over the curbs in turn 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he launched off of turn 3, and he had a downward-facing fuse box, and then he had a fuse box cover full of relays. So.
All right, so look at the speed climb again. It's going to be vastly different in the draft later today.
I'm really curious the difference that we see from open car, single car qualifying here into the actual race, lap time wise, and some of the speeds. Eric, obviously a seasoned veteran of wheel-to-wheel racing. I think he raced two solid seasons at SCCA, then a full season of GridLife Touring Cup. He's also one of the members of the GridLife Touring Cup Rules Committee with me, and a lot of solid input. Quite an entertaining driver to watch his videos. If you haven't checked out his Instagram, I believe it's at Eric Catil Racing. I think there's an underscore or 2 in there.
All right, turn 3, jump over the curb. Third gear for Eric. It's going to be fourth gear for some of the drivers closer to the top of the board. I think a lot of drivers were kind of going between third and fourth, and this is, how much speed can you carry? How sideways can you get that car to flick it in? DJ was staying in fourth, he was saying, and I think a lot of drivers have decided that that's the case. Look at the oversteer at the exit of turn 5, though, cranking that wheel back to the right to try to hold on to it. That's going to be a big topic of discussion once you put 30 or 40 of these cars on a racetrack together.
Yeah, getting all on top of that big wide concrete patch off to the right of turn 5. You can use that pavement, and it seems to grip better than the asphalt on the inside in real life. I would imagine you're going to see a lot of drivers using all of that section, especially first lap.
So on the back straightaway once again, we'll take a look now at the very long back straightaway here, and this is a very lonely feeling right now when you're all by yourself.
It goes and it goes and it goes. It goes and goes and goes and goes.
And we're still going. Crickets, cue the crickets.
The bend at 9 there, that is not too much of a bend here on an MX-5, but you get up in the speeds and it starts to exist.
Absolutely, and I think I had experience to ride around Road Atlanta in a 485 horsepower Challenger with Luke McGrew, and that bend exists in a Challenger, and it boats around there even at 150, but it was a lot of fun.
After my first race weekend there in 2014 or 15, I was visualizing the track, trying to practice it mentally, and somebody's like, "Yeah, the bend at 9. How was that at your car?" And I was like, "Let's turn 9."
This is one of those racetracks where you have to wonder how they came up with the corner numbers, because I don't really consider anything on the back straightaway really a corner.
Right.
But really from 7 to 10A, that's pretty much a straight for me. But here's Luke McGrew. He's currently sitting 9th on the board in his number 57 car. And he was just up at Gingerman Raceway earlier this week testing his GLTC MX-5 build, that very similar to Derek Yarbrough's car, but without all the aero on it. And he was beating up a Corvette around there, so that's typical Luke McGrew, getting the most as he can out of the car.
He beat me up too. I think he put about 3 seconds on my personal best time. I was out there having a good time with him.
Yes, I didn't know you were out there too, so A couple
Yeah,
people
I
were
was out
having
there
more
on
fun than me.
Saturday. Yeah, we were out there Saturday. I actually drove my GLTC car from Chicago on the highway on race tires all the way to Gingerbread on Saturday morning. It was a
street legal
great
now?
day. It's ish street legal. It has a plate.
Oh, well, I guess that counts. I can't imagine it
Yeah.
was the best highway experience ever, but
I was listening to a book on tape, and the Whitener Bilsteins are very nice on the highway, actually. They take those expansion joints and the bumps quite well. So it rode better than my F350, so I figured, I might as well take it.
I guess so. There's Ryan Kristoff, the number 46. Last time the GLTC was here, Ryan was not prepared to race this. He was getting set up for the SCCA runoffs at Virginia International Raceway, I believe. So he's currently 27th on the board. We're kind of surprised. Make that 29th. He's dropping way down the order. He's going to have, I think that might be it. So he's going to have a lot of work to do tonight, Adam. That's not what we would have expected out of Kristoff. But at the top of the board, Jeremy Swenson and Austin Cobb, your top two quickest. Swenson ran a 1:37.5. Cobb about a 10th back with a 1:37.6. Then Jack Tranter, DJ Alessandrini, Rob Casera, Kenton Cook, Hauseal Hartley, Tom O'Gorman, and Justin Hilly. The rest of your top 10.
Both Austin Cobb and Jeremy Swenson very fast historically in GRIDLIFE iRacers, and Swenson did quite well last week as well too. It was fun to watch some of our Time Attack buddies running around in wheel to wheel.
A couple other drivers getting their times in. 52 drivers have put down a time on the board so far. And David McAllister, I was talking with DJ Alessandrini before this race, and I was told that David was actually not even going to run this race until about half an hour ago, and DJ convinced him to go run a lap, and here he is, going to go for it as he comes down the hill. What's the time going to be for him? Going to be a 1:40.022. That will put him 49th. So that will be a Heat 1 for David McAllister, but a lot of work to do to get up to the top 15 spot where you have to be to qualify immediately for the feature event here.
Yeah, good looking livery on McAllister's car. They're kind of clean and simple, and kind of a throwback look.
I mean, a lot of Tunnel's Corvette with the gray and the yellow on it.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
It's Jason Cavanaugh in the 67 coming on through. He was one of the drivers that was kind of bouncing on the transfer bubble last week for that 15th spot in one of the heat races. I'm not sure if he'll get another time in. He has a 1:40.2 recorded, but it was a dirty lap, so he'll have to go again. Again, you have to keep all four tires within the track boundaries, and that is defined here as anything between the white lines plus the curbs. So at the exit of 5, you can run all the way over that with no big deal, but everywhere else got to stay on the track.
Yeah, this track is one of those tracks where you use almost all the curb in a lot of places. So as long as they keep that, as long as they keep their inside wheel on the green and white stripe, then they're good to go.
Absolutely, and he'll
That's
be
good.
there's Ian Schaefer through 10A and 10B, and really the scary one for me is the exit of turn 12. This curb down here is so narrow, and you have to kind of lean on it if you're going to go full throttle here in an MX-5, a little bit slidey. Maybe grab the inside one to help the car rotate, but easy peasy lemon squeezy for Ian Schaefer. Comes on through, and he will run a little bit slower than his best, a 1:39.7. He will stay 40th right now. So qualifying is complete as Schaefer heads back up the hill in turn number 1. About ready to go racing here in just a moment, Adam. So, heat number 1 is coming up. It'll be the odd drivers from this qualifying session. So, Swenson, Cobb, Robert Hartley, Rob Casera, Ken Hauseal, Eric Cattell, and Chris Boersma are some of the drivers that are highlighting this field as we head back down to the racetrack and get prepared for our first of 2 of these heats tonight.
Yeah, as I said, I'm looking forward to turn 1. It is always the wildest place, especially on a rolling start. I'm curious to see it on a standing start as well.
We're going to find out. I think you're carrying a little bit less speed here on the standing start, so it should make things a little bit nicer for the drivers, but we're going to find that out. We're going to have cars wrapped all the way up into turn number 12. This is a pretty wild place to start if you're all the way at the back looking down the hill. So downhill start might help you out a little bit.
I have had a rough start here in the past. I have not wheel-to-wheel raced here since that day as well. But...
All right, time to go racing. We're just waiting for a couple more drivers to grid up. Everybody's on the grid, and here we go. The GRIDLIFE iRacers Quarantine Cup, round number 3 of 4. Heat number 1 is on the board. Jeremy Swenson on pole. Green flag flies. We're racing at Road Atlanta for 10 minutes. Here we go.
Yeah, they're narrowing out nicely in the top 1, 2, and 3 entering turn 1 here.
That first corner always a little bit dicey. There's Austin Cobb pinching Rob Casera a little bit as they head up the hill through turn number 2. So far, so good. Haven't seen any contact as we head into turn number 3 for the first time. Ever getting single filed out to jump the curbs here. There's Boersma on the inside of Luke McGrew and Emil Tab. He'll cycle on through side by side farther still. Now we head down towards turn number 5. Still no trouble at the front of the field.
Very clean start here, and they really got single file entering turn 3. Super clean going down the S's.
There goes Emil Tab spinning a corner exit, and he'll bring another one with him. That was Boersma in the 21 car, so they've both gone for a ride. Also has the 86 of Derek King, and just like that, they needed to finish top 15 here, Adam, and they are going to be way down the order, down in 26th place now. Yeah,
it might be a long night for some of them.
So who's in 15th right now? That's Drew Cleaver in the 917. Right behind him, the 38 of Aaron Lichty, Marcus Luttrell, Kyle Vallejos, and more. So Drew Cleaver in that red and brown, number 917. He is the transfer position. And it's going to soon be the 24, Vincent van der Hayden, here in just a second as they battle side by side down the back straight. The 10A for the first time, blocked by Swenson into the braking zone.
Yeah, 8 minutes is a long time at Road Atlanta still, though. There's a lot of potential for slight bobbles to end up taking somebody from the upper to the mid to the back of the pack. It's a track where you need a lot of perfection. Those walls do come up real fast, as we talked about earlier, when you get off track.
But right now it's a 7-car breakaway. Paul Darling capping that one off. Swenson leads lap number 1. Hartley to 2nd. Cobb 3rd. Back to 15th place. It's van der Hayden that has it right now. Right behind him, Lichty. But van der Hayden wants 14th back from Cleavers ahead to turn 1. And here comes Marcus Luttrell up the inside for 16th. Contact there as the 24, or excuse me, it's the 38 of Lichty. He spins in turn number 1. And just like that, he's out of the running for tonight's race unless he can earn a spot in the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to have to find a spot in, too. The last chance qualifier so far has been a real battle. Quite a barn burner every time. So
15th is this yellow and black car. That's van der Hayden. Marcus Luttrell is going to be your 16th place car. Going to pull over to driver's left. He has some damage on that car. There's Kyle Vallejos in the number 13. That's the white car with the heart shape on the hood. And they're battling for 16th now, but this won't do them any good. They need to do one better, and they have to gain 2 seconds to catch up to van der Hayden. Up at the front still, Swenson and Hartley in line. I'm not sure that they're going to do a whole lot of battling here, but let's see what Hartley does.
Yeah, their mission right now would just be to end the race in their positions right now. But hopefully good, clean racing for the next 7 minutes up front. But yeah, that spot 15 to spot 25-ish area, that's the party right there.
Oh, big jump over the curve for Robert Hartley on the apex of 10B. Those are gnarly down there, Adam. Side by side through turn number 12. How's this going to work out? 3 wide for a second as they head down the hill.
That's a busy place to go. 2 and 3 wide, up into the right. You get into that grass, it can get real loose real fast coming down off 12. Your inside is not loaded up like your outside.
Ask, I think it was Gordon Makalevich that found that out in one of the races at the exit of 12. Yeah. Went for a slide through the grass, but Swenson was hanging it out at the exit of 12. Hangs on to the lead for now as they head down the hill again. And Eric Cattill's joined this fight now in 6th place after he started a little bit a while ago in 6th. So he hasn't really gone anywhere, but he is going to go forward.
The inside left of bottom of 12 there under that straightaway, you put those outside tires off into the grass there, and the only thing you can do is really just try to drive straight. That car really wants to push off then. That's a tough area to battle your buddies down.
Certainly is. So we've had Paul Darling. I think it was a connection issue for the 155. He's dropped out. He was inside the top 15, so that moves the chopping block back to Marcus Luttrell. He is now the last driver to transfer in 15th place. Right behind him, Kyle Vallejos, Jason Kavanaugh, 16th and 17th. So this is the battle right now behind this 92, the red, white, and blue.
How often do you see the connection issue problem be a race ender for some of these drivers?
It's more often than you'd think, especially in big fields. It's bound to happen to somebody. But for the problem is once you drop connection, it removes you from the racetrack. It won't just put you back on where you were. So you're basically done. You can come back later and try out the LCQ for Paul Darling, and he's got a good chance of making it back and doing that, so we're going to have to keep an eye on him throughout the rest of the night. Eric Cattill, how about for 5th place, side by side through 12, big slide as they head down the hill.
Good solid racing there up at the front. That pack is staying nicely. P2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, nicely tight with each other. Looks like they're having a really good time there up in the upper mid pack.
The first and second place cars, Swenson and Hartley, are beginning to stretch the gap, but Austin Cobb wants to get back there as well, so took a bunch of curb in turn 3 to try to catch up. Up the hill now for Luttrell. He's actually gapping Kyle Vallejos in the number 13, so he'll be okay, but Nick Nelson in the 663. Last time by was a 10th quicker. Trouble up in front. It's George Fike around in turn number 4. And that's going to lose him a top 15 spot just like that. So move the chopping block back to Vallejos now in the 13 car.
4 minutes to go. I am kind of curious how in the longer sections of the race, though, between turn 10 and turn 7 and turn 10, how the draft works out for some of these crops of cars. P3, 4, 5, and 6 having a tighter gapping. They might actually have the worst draft than P1 and P2, which are pulling away. They're running a real clean race there up at the front.
They are doing a great job just staying in line. And again, this win really won't mean a whole lot for them other than gridding position for the feature race tonight at the end. So right now, your only goal is really to stay above 15th place. And Kyle Vallejos is in that spot. And the zebra stripe car of Nick Nelson is about 0.7 of a second out. He's going to have about 3 laps to get back up there, Adam. We'll see if he can get there. But it's going to be a little bit of work and some draft as well.
Approaching the 3-minute mark here. There's not a lot of time left, so that battle for 15th place, that might be this is the time, I think, where we see some wild maneuvers happening up there.
So 3 minutes to go as they head up the hill this time through. And Swenson continues to lead Hartley, and Austin Cobb is caught back up into 3rd spot. So now we have a 3-horse fight for the lead. They head down the S's. You're just balancing these cars. They like to hang the rear end out. Now through 5, you're trail braking slightly, jumping the curb, and getting set up for the straightaway. Look at the leader all the way out over the edge of the curb and lining himself up for a run down to 6.
Using all of the throttle down there between 5 and 6, staying on it as hard as they can. I was kind of surprised to see mid-80s in 3rd gear there for Swenson entering turn 1.
Lining up for the back straightaway. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put Rob Casera in this group now. Ken Alseal, 1.1 back just on the tail end of the draft. For 15th, pass for position. Kyle Vallejos now is trying to hold off Nick Nelson. Nelson setting him up for a pass. This is for a transfer spot. If Nelson can pass this car, he'll be into the feature and not have to race the last chance qualifier. Now the draft. This is where you just get in line, use the slipstream, and you'll be in position to move yourself into the feature. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, pass for the lead. Hartley's through. This time should be 2 laps to go as they head down the hill for 15th place. Vallejo still has it, but Nelson is setting him up, looks to the inside, backs out, thinks better of it. That was really tight there on the quarter panel of the 13, but all that momentum he gave up is going to carry for about half the lap. Now he's only got 2 laps left to get the job done. Nice, neat, and tidy group at the front here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alseal's caught back up. Everyone
real close.
Greedily taking the inside apex. Eric Till is 2.2 out of this. You can see the group in front of him. This is a lonely feeling out of him to be left behind like this.
Yeah, there's about a 10-car gap there, but he's very safe. All he's got to do is run a good, clean last lap and just keep it on the pavement.
Absolutely. They're doing a good job up there, top 5 right now. Down through the field, the car that we're watching is this one right here, the 663. That is the driver with the zebra stripes on, and the logos. I think there's a bull on the side of some sort as he heads down the back straightaway between 5 and 6. Vallejos is the one that needs to hang on to this, or else he's out and has to qualify in the last chance qualifier in a top 10 position.
Yeah, about approaching the 1 lap to go right now. They should be just about down there. And yeah, P15, pretty hotly contested still. It's still anybody's game with 1 lap to go.
Into the braking zone, a little bit of checking up there for 3rd place Austin Cobb. Didn't want to run into the back of 2nd place Swenson. They crest the hill in turn 11, now head back to the stripe. This time through will be white flag for the leaders. 1 lap to go. Meanwhile, behind him, Nick Nelson is side by side with Vallejos and is through. So move Nelson to the transfer spot. We'll see if the 13 can battle back. He needs to pass this car. Wide goes the 663. Going to drag race down the hill in turn number 11.
This is going to be a good one right here.
To take all the inside curb, try to hook that car around, and now he's in a good spot here, though, Adam. If he can just draft right back up to the 663, he can slingshot back by, but he needs to keep the gap close enough, and I'm not sure he's quite got the pace. He's got damage on the hood of that car.
Yeah, if he can stay this close or work his way up the back straightaway, he'll be in an okay spot entering 12. But that's a busy lap following. He's got about a 2-car gap here. So.
And Nelson will have the draft from Marcus Luttrell just in front of them, so that's going to be something to watch. Meanwhile, for third, Casera around Cobb for that podium spot. Into turn 7 now, the front 5 all together. The battle for 15th has seemingly vanished for now. Vallejos really struggled through 5, and I think, unless something happens, Nelson is in, Vallejos is out. Back up to the front, though. Drag race down the backstretch for 4th place, Austin Cobb. Ken Seal maybe going to try to set up a pass here into 10A and 10B.
It's a straight, solid line of cars there up at the front. They are all running identical lines, identical lap times, just about a tenth of a second there between P1 and P5 for that last lap. So real close driving.
Side by side for the lead into 10A. Now sweeping back to the right for 10B. Swenson back through. Here comes Casera up the inside as they head over the crest in 11 and 12. Down the hill now. Who gets back to the stripe first? Swenson's got the lead for second. It's a dogfight to the line, and Hartley's going to grab it, and looks like Casera's going to drop to 4th as Cobb grabs 3rd on the outside lane for 15th. Nelson, over the crest of the hill. They're beating and banging at 11. Here comes Nelson. He's already transferred in. Can he grab one spot better on the inside of Luttrell to the checkered flag? He'll back out and take 15th and be safe about it. Nelson transfers to the feature.
Super cool last turn there for both groups so far. We're hoping for nice solid runs there for everybody down into the start-finish area.
Really solid race there for 15th place. Let's take a look at the unofficial results here. Swenson, Hartley, Cobb, Casera, Hausiel, your top 5. And all the way down in 15th place, that's the battle we were watching. All the drivers above the 15th place mark will transfer to the feature right there. Everybody below that will be eliminated here as we get set up for the second of our 2 heats here. So, time to set up. We'll go again, this time with the drivers that were even in qualifying, and this will include some heavy hitters here. Adam, how about Justin Hilly, Jack Tranter, DJ Alessandrini, Kenton Cook, Tom O'Gorman, Brad Adams? There's a lot of drivers in here that we know are going to be good. And 15th place, it's going to be a dogfight. James Houghton's here in the 49, back in 17th spot.
Okay, good to see more Time Attack buddies making the jump down to wheel-to-wheel with us. Although Mr. Houghton now has done a GLTC race, so he is officially a wheel-to-wheel buddy with GRIDLIFE as well.
And not only has he done them, he's also won them, so he's got a lot of pace in his brand new car.
He does, especially at COTA, the opening weekend for his new build.
There is his K-Tune-sponsored MX-5 as he's lined up. Go racing, he needs to gain 2 spots to qualify automatically for the feature race. Again, the top 15 will move on. There's Justin Hilly on pole. Jack Tranter will start in second. There's DJ Alessandrini, Kenton Cook, Tom O'Gorman. They've been co-drivers in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Series. Kenton Cook still competes in SRO America. In an Aston Martin jump start for the 11 of Jack Tranter, and just like that, he might get black flagged for that here, Adam, but he might get it cleared. We'll find out. Green flag, 10 minutes on the board, and it's a drag race to the turn 1.
Jumping that start, who makes the call there on the black flag?
So usually a jump start is an automatic penalty there as we go 3 wide through turn 1. But depending on how egregious it is, you might get away with it. There's Tom O'Gorman off of the grass in turn number 1. And he's slipping and sliding, going to drop down below 15th, maybe. No, just 9th for now. But the 5 car gets turned behind him. That's Stephen Walker, and everybody's scattering as they head down the hill.
Good avoidance there for everybody behind, for the most part.
So we're 4 wide in the S's. That ain't going to work. There they go. And there's Christoph caught up in it. There's everybody in it as they head doan the hill. Samuel Engelbert's in it. Oh, that's a mess.
Yeah, that's looking like a lot of bad finishes.
Yeah. 4 wide
not
was
the fast line.
never going to work, but Alessandrini goes to the lead. Hilly, Tranter, Elias Roman, Kenton Cook, your top 5. O'Gorman fell to 11th. And look at that, Houghton up 4 spots into 13th. He transfers as it stands. Who's on the transfer spot? Reese Everard in the 42, driver from the SCCA Esports Super Tour. And he's been mighty quick the last couple weeks. Jonas
he certainly has.
Jonas Seeger behind him. Ian Schaefer, 16th and 17th. They want in.
That's a wild first 5 turns. That that mid pack had a tough time. Hopefully, we could see some good action there on the transfer spot as we saw last race. I think we might have a little bit more of an urgency from some of the drivers than we saw last race because of that off.
That's Matthew Morhart in the number 62 car out of Texas. He'll drop down the order to 14th spot, so he was safely in. Now he needs to hang on. He cannot lose more than 1 spot. Jack Tranter has to hit pit lane for a stop-and-go penalty for jumping the start. That will effectively remove him from the battle for the lead. He will have to qualify in the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, it's a shame to see, especially when he was so far up front, obviously.
Elias Roman in 3rd, Kenton Cook in 4th, and we'll jump back to our transfer position. Jonas Seeger in the 58, that's the gray and purple car. Ian Schaefer behind. He is the odd man out right now. Here's your 2 leaders, Hilly and Alessandrini, then 3rd and 4th, nice tight grouping there. Brad Adams is up to 7th. I think he started down the order a little bit. 11th up to 7th. Far around in the background. Oh, Reese Everard is in the fence.
Good-looking Red Bull livery there. Looks kind of like Mad Mike drift car.
Good-looking race car, but I'm sure it would have looked a little bit better if it had hung on to the top 15 spot, unfortunately.
I think they always look better when they're pointed the right direction.
Absolutely.
But, glad to see him out here.
All right, so that moves the cut line up another spot. So the driver that is out right now is Charles Boley's number 63. The 2 in front of them are the drivers on the chopping block. So whoever sorts this out and runs away will have a 1-spot buffer to the transfer position. Hilly leads into turn 10A, and here comes Kenton Cook to the inside for 3rd.
Yeah, Hilly and Kenton Cook, obviously both very experienced racers, and very winning real-life careers. Good to see them out here battling with GRIDLIFE.
There's James Houghton and Edo Waxman side by side through turn 11. Down the hill now, Waxman takes the 11th spot back. Schaefer and Seeger still battling for 14th. Boley is 1.4 seconds behind. So if these two get together, that will move Boley into the transfer spot up into 15th. Drag race down the front stretch. We'll see if they can sort this out.
Got to keep it clean up here through 1. This is obviously a very important area.
Climbing the hill towards turn number 3, and right behind him is that black and red car, Charles Boley. He wants in, and he is there. And Jeffrey Tattersall behind him as well. A little bit of an early turn in, grabbed a little bit too much curb on the downhill.
Beautiful shot there of the downhill S's. I love that look at that track right there.
It is one of the best look. Oh no, Houghton's off! And just like that, oh, that's big damage too.
Oh man.
Oh, that's not good. We didn't want to see that. James Houghton was doing so well and probably just caught a curb the wrong way on entry. Was on the curb on the right and just understeers straight off and clobbers the tire barriers.
A lot of people have done that in real life.
Right here is an onboard. Oh, I think he was also couldn't get into a gear, or hunting for a gear, and I think the distraction kept him from getting the car turned in, and he's still struggling. That'll be an LCQ qualifier if he can just hang on to it and finish 10th or better, but a lot of work to do now. So that moves Charles Boley into the transfer spot. And Ian Schaefer.
Yeah, at least Houghton doesn't have to enlist the help of mad thrashing Canadian mechanics to fix the car. He has those in real life. I don't know if he has them here.
Probably not, unfortunately, but you do have a reset button, which is almost as good.
Just about as good. Maybe faster, actually.
Tattersall lifted big time to avoid running into the back of Schaefer. This is the pass for the transfer spot. Up the inside for turn number 1. We're a little bit past halfway, 4 minutes and 35 to go. And the 31 needs to pass this car to get into the race.
We're going to see about 4 more laps, I would imagine, and a lot can happen in 4 laps, but this is going to be a battle area right here. We've got, I would imagine, 5-ish cars within striking distance with any potential errors. But so far, good clean racing back in the area.
Yeah, a little bit of spread between these cars as well, so they're going to have to be perfect if they want to catch up. Tom McGorman, remember his early issues on the first lap. He dropped back to 11th. He's back up to 6th spot now, which is only 1 worse than where he started, so he's coming back forward.
The Valvoline livery looking pretty solid there on Tom's cars. It fits the body lines of an MX-5 quite well.
It also has a SimTV logo on the hood, so I'm a fan of it for sure.
Yeah, I imagined you are.
I'm a little biased. Brad Adams in his rainbow confetti car as he heads down the tie-dye machine down into 10A. Currently sitting in 8th place.
Your eyes.
I said that earlier, Adam, and DJ said that's the perfect personification of Brad. And
yeah, I know. You just you look at it and you can't look away, but you kind of want to sometimes. You know, with whatever random T-shirt Brad's wearing, that could fit that description could work. You never know. It'd be like a wolf with an American flag and a machine gun. You never know what he's got.
Looks like Jeff Tattersall had an issue on this lap. He's dropped to 21st place. So that moves the transfer gap from Ian Schaefer back to Lucas Webster in 16th. That's a 3.6 second difference. There is Ian Schaefer in the middle of your screen. Right behind him, that's Lucas Webster. He's the odd man out, the first man out of the race for the feature. So he's got 2.5 minutes to make up 4 seconds. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but we'll keep an eye on it. Back up front, though, Hilly and Alessandrini continue to lead.
Hilly got a good clean run there. They've got Hilly and they have a huge gap right now. They're using each other's strengths, it looks like. A good clean race so far for both of them.
Kenton Cook is in third, using a little bit of exit of 6 curbing there. And then there's a 3-car group, Elias Roman, Blake Clemens, and Tom O'Gorman. How about a bump draft?
I love this shot. It's a great shot. Have you ever walked this track in real life?
I didn't really get a chance to explore beyond the 10A area and the GLTC paddock.
I would highly recommend it in real life if you ever, after hours, you get a chance to walk the track, or you can jump a fence and walk the track. It is shocking, the elevation changes in real life. When you're not in a car, it's much more perceptible than when you're riding shotgun. Wild place. What a crazy natural terrain road course here.
I did get to walk the drop down through turn 12, and that is pretty spectacular. I never got a chance to look over on the S's side of the racetrack, but hopefully we can get back over there someday and check that out. For the lead, though, 2 laps to go. Hilly and Alessandrini continue to lead this race. No battles there. 15th place, still held by Schaefer. 4.7 gap back to 16th. No battles there. We've kind of sorted out. And not much going on right now, but we're going to enter the last chance qualifier here in just over a minute and a half or so. And then we're going to get to watch 30 drivers fight it out for 10 spots to round out the rest of our 40-car grid for our feature event, the 20-minute race here at Road Atlanta. I'm a little bit surprised at how different this race has looked from the first one here, Adam. A little bit bigger gaps, not such tight groupings, and I'm curious as to why this race is played out this way. But if you'll note the cloud over the racetrack here, it is dark out, and we'll see if the weather has dropped. Look at the track surface. It was 111, now it's 93, so it's dropped almost 10 degrees in just a few minutes.
Ambient down to 72 degrees. You can see that's a crazy change in track temp.
So that's probably affecting at least some of the racing here.
I think some of the kerfuffle there on the opening lap down the S's, that probably did help spread some of the mid-pack out. But P1 and P2, they are walking away a little bit. Obviously quite talented in the iRacing world. We've got a lot of real big talent there in the top 10. And it's surprising to see the top 10 spread out so much in just a 10-minute race.
Absolutely. White flag here for heat number 2. Alessandrini pushing Justin Hilly. He's going to wait until the back straightaway heading into turn number 10A. I don't think we'll see him do anything until there. Here's a pass for, it looks like 11th. That's Bob Caceres, 45, past Matthew Mordhart. And in behind him, Jonas Seeger and Charles Boley in 14th. Ian Schaefer has dropped out of this group. He is the transfer car right now. He has lost a little bit of time to Reese Everard, but Everard's got to gain almost 4 seconds in a lap. I'm not thinking that's super likely unless one of these drivers has a mistake. We're looking 2, maybe 3 wide up the hill towards turn 3. This could get ugly.
It's busy. That is busy, but looks like they're pulling it off so far. 2 wide to turn 3.
That's 62 of Morhart, and then Charles Boley, Jonas Seeger, and Bob Caceres right at the front of this mix. Tom O'Gorman up to 4th, past Elias Roman in turn 5.
Solid drive for O'Gorman there in the last 10 minutes.
Put himself in position, maybe to even run down Kenton Cook. He's got a 0.6 of a second gap to make up. But now we watch DJ Alessandrini going to set up a pass here for the lead. Take a look to driver's right, driver's left. I like to be on the right side of the racetrack into 10A because I think it gives you a better run up the hill into 11. But he's going to go for the left side. Hilly protects on driver's right. Here comes DJ. Pass for the lead. Final couple corners here at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. Hilly turns in, doors the 91. And DJ still through with some fender damage. He goes on through to the lead, and he'll come out of turn number 11 and 12 down the hill to pick up the race for the Heat 2 victory here.
Yeah, good advantage there in the braking zone for DJ. Solid work for that pass.
And for Ian Schaefer in the 242. Oh, this could get ugly into 10A, 10B. All these cars need to make it back if they want to make it to the feature. Reese Everard, here he is. He's 3.2 seconds back. He's going to miss out on a transfer spot unless these guys have a collision in the final corner. Looks like they will not. And Schaefer will transfer through.
Yeah, nice clean run there for the last couple sections for both of these packs. Good to see a nice well fought victory there for DJ Alessandrini. Solid work against Justin Hilly. Justin running a super clean race, and DJ just took advantage of that very last good passing opportunity there, dropping down into 10A.
So Reese Everard on back. They will not make it automatically. They'll have to finish in the top 10 in the next race that's coming up. It will be 30 drivers, the bottom 15 from each heat that we just ran. And here's one more look at your format before we enter our final heat race. This is considered the last chance qualifier. And again,
LCQ.
Yep, this is it. Going to be another 10-minute race. Head down to the racetrack here in just a moment. Just showing the format one more time. So Heat 1 for the odd drivers, Heat 2 for the evens. We've already done those. Now it's time for the LCQ. The top 10 move on. Kyle Vallejos, we mentioned him earlier, almost transferred in. He will be on pole for this race. Reese Everard, Emil Tabb, Stephen Walker, Zach Grant, Jack Tranter, and where is Aaron Lichty? He'll start 11th. James Houghton will start 16th. So those drivers have some work to do. Chris Boersma all the way back in 21st. Lots of passing to do for those drivers.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the start of this race because misfortune and missed opportunity brought most of these drivers here. So the eagerness and the anticipation trying to get into the final. We'll see how they behave.
Oh, jump start for the 42 of Everard. So that's going to pull him out of this race. The green flag is in the air. 10 minutes on the board. We're going to be able to Tabb go middle 3 wide with a spectacular start in his winning formula number 14. He'll go through to the lead. Oh, bumping, sliding. Oh, big mess on the front straight here, Adam. Jacob Price is around back into traffic. Oh, what a mess.
7 cars affected. That's a big one right there.
George Fike is in it. Looks like Dan Mount, Jacob Price, Zach Rubin is in it as well. As quick as they started, it's over.
When Dr. Panaz redesigned this track and put those big concrete walls there, I mean, that to bring spectators down nice and close to this racetrack did bring some of the danger, and that is some of the consequence.
Oh, car off hard into the concrete. That was John Nichols in the 41. He's out of the race. And side by side for the lead, Everard has a penalty. He'll have to come serve just like Tranter did. A little bit of contact. Tranter up the inside now for second.
Red Bull livery might not be long for our screen if there is a jump start penalty for him.
And you can get away with it if it's a small jump. Sometimes you'll get lucky, but typically it's pretty sensitive. So we'll see if he hits pit lane. Tranter now going for the lead on the backstretch.
He barely moved and then he did stop. So I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I think it's done by distance. So if he got it stopped within a couple inches, I think he'll be all right. Much farther beyond that, that'll be a penalty. How about 3 cars battling for the lead? One of them will have to dip to pit lane, maybe. We're not sure yet. The 10A.
Tranter with a solid lead at the moment, entering 12, dropping down.
And here comes the 42. Pit lane penalty will drop him out. That is a shame. So, where does that move our cut line? Well, I can tell you one thing, James Houghton and Aaron Lichty are both in the race as it stands. Ryan Kristoff is 3 spots out in 13th, looking for 12th on Jeff Tattersall into turn number 1. Here he comes up the inside.
Good to see Lichty back near the front of the pack here after the unfortunate incident in race 1.
Tattersall was off in turn number 1. That will move Kristoff to 12th. David McAllister up to 11th. Chris Boersma up to 14th. So Houghton and Lichty, currently your last drivers to make it into the race. McAllister in that gray and yellow car, he is the odd man out right now. Kristoff needs to catch and pass at least 2 more cars to make it in.
Entering turn 5 there, nice and clean for that pack. Nice straight line there for all cars as they're approaching turn 6 and 7.
I think McAllister is pretty quick. Remember, he qualified into this after really only having a couple minutes worth of practice. So if he can just catch this orange number 38 of Aaron Lichty and go on by him, he'll have a spot. But Ryan Kristoff is coming. We know how fast Kristoff can be, and Chris Boersma as well. These two might work together here and try to catch that 10th place car.
Yeah, 12 and 11, 13, they all have a chance, and we're only 7 minutes left, and we're only 3 minutes into this race, so it's still anybody's game. One little bobble up front, it could cascade down through the field.
Exactly. As soon as one car up in front of these drivers spins or has an issue, that moves the cut line up one or down one spot rather. So Boersma and Kristoff follow each other through 10B. McAllister, I think, sees those drivers coming, but Houghton is through. Or excuse me, Lichty has gotten by Houghton, so change those drivers around, move Houghton to 10th, Lichty to 9th. McAllister is coming, last time through a 140.001, that was his best lap. Wasn't any quicker than Houghton, and it was certainly 7/10 slower than Boersma, who's now P12.
Still within striking distance, though. This pack not as spread out so far as we saw that second race. Second race really spread out very quickly. We're not even halfway through this race, but they're still battling.
Trouble for Kyle Vallejo's damage on that car. He's going to be out of the race. That moves the cut line back one spot, and that should put McAllister in. And now Boersma needs to pass the 151, the gray car in front, to be into this race. And just like that, the cut line moves down.
Yeah, Boersma not too far back either, as he's just about onto the bumper of McAllister.
Scramble in front of him. This is 5th place. The 44, this 666, Aaron Lichty, and more all in this battle together.
I think I see Sean. Is that Sean Krebs back up in P5 right now?
That is in the 44, the red and black car, trailing this.
Yeah, very fast street mod driver with us, and also running with Global Time Attack. Did real well out at Superlap Battle out in Buttonwillow this year. So solid driving rapport for Mr. Sean Krebs back.
A really good job. Houghton deep on the brakes into 10A. That brings Boersma right up to the rear tailpipes of the 151 of McAllister. That car right in front of the driver you're riding on board with right now, that is the transfer spot, position number 10. Adam, can we do this kind of racing in real life? This is fun.
Well, we're trying. There's probably not that many ND MX-5 Cup cars that we can get our hands on right now, unless we have about $1 million. Good looking race here right now in the LCQ.
And they traded spots for a second, but McAllister isn't done. Drag race to turn number 3 in front of them. They're side by side, and now Kristoff is in this group. Both these GRIDLIFE personalities following McAllister, who just got into this event with about 30 minutes left in qualifying. There's a lot of dust flying around there from turn number 3, but he has got 2 GRIDLIFE drivers breathing down his neck as he heads through 5.
But it's a good, solid place for him to be. All he's got to do is keep his head down, really hit his marks.
Houghton's off, moves him to 11th. Houghton's out right now as it stands. Kristoff down through. Let's take a look at what happened to the 49 of Houghton. I think it was just a mistake heading into turn 5, and this is the same mistake that he made in the first race earlier. He just got wide, didn't hit the wall this time, but a very similar issue took him out in his heat race, and he's back to 12th.
Yeah, the internet up in Canada might be a little bit slower. He's got little kids tugging on his arms. He's got 2 tiny ones at home.
Kristoff is 11th now, and Boersma is the target. This time through will be 3 laps to go. Tranter's out in front by 4 seconds, so nothing there to look at. Look at Houghton going defensive on Tattersall in the 31 into 10A.
3 minutes approaching right now. This is getting down to the wire as they're dropping down 12 here. Clean racing overall in the upper mid pack. The start is really the only place we saw issues so far.
Just a big mess on the start in the second heat, as well as in last chance qualifier. Kristoff last time through was 3/10 slower than Boersma, so I'm not sure he's got the pace to go back up there and catch him. But there it goes, McAllister around in turn number 1. He slams the concrete.
Oh.
Now move the cut line to Kristoff. Just got wide there in turn 1. We talked about it in the pre-race. Don't step over that curb at the exit of 1 because it's a downhill slide after that.
Yeah, you really need the perfection up in 1. There's very, very little room for error in turn 1.
All right, exit of 5 now. Kristoff, the transfer driver. Houghton is quick, and he is closing behind him. Tattersall has been breathing down the neck of Houghton for the last lap and a half here. So Now it's, well, seasoned GLTC driver, a new GLTC driver between Houghton and Kristoff.
We'll see some very much needed perfection from Kristoff, hopefully, as he defends just slightly, but all he's got to do is really just hit his marks and be perfect for the next lap or two, and cross his fingers for imperfection for those behind him. That's a close gap there for 12 and 11.
Now the slipstream going to go into effect here. Tattersall didn't get a very good run out of turn 7. Houghton did get a pretty decent run. He'll be on Kristoff's rear bumper here as they head to the white flag. No, sorry, 2 to go this time through. Oh, big stack up in front of him. That's going to check 10th, 9th, and 8th all up as they exit 10B, and Houghton's even closer now, down the hill towards 12.
We might have a battle for 9th here. Who knows? This is this is pretty solid. 9, 10, 11, 12. Quite a pack. The back pack here is going to be fun to watch. 2 laps to go as they approach turn 1 right now.
I am board with Jason Cavanaugh. Here comes Boersma up the inside. This is for 8th. Real tight there. Big slip up, and here comes Kristoff trying to take advantage of it as they head to turn 3. Oh, this is going to get real dicey. Houghton's in the mix now as well. He needs to pass 1 car. He's got 2 fighting in front of him. The 2 K-tuned cars. A little bit of a drag race here down the hill in the S's.
That is a wild little pack there in those S's.
Oh, that was a cut for Kristoff. Will he have to give up time? They give you a little bit of leeway with the inside apexes, but if you cut it too much, you'll have to pull over. I think he's good. He might just have gotten away with that. These are narrow cars. He should be all right.
It's not the fastest line to get all up in the dirt there in real life, but hopefully he does not see the sign to enter the pits.
Well, if you're K-tuned right now, you're looking at Boersma and you're looking at Houghton trying to figure out, can we get both these cars in this race? Because right now, one of the 2 is not going to make it. But here comes Boersma on the outside of Kristoff, who's drag racing Cavanaugh down the back straight. Going to get real dicey. Oh, will Boersma try 3 wide to drivers left here to 10A? They're going to do it. Not quite.
3 miles to go. Those K-Tune boys, all they really have to do is just stay where they're at. They've got plenty of opportunities.
Oh, no, they touched. Cavanaugh slideways through 10A, and they're somehow going to get out of there without completely wadding up everybody. Oh, they're going to touch again, and there goes Boersma off the bumper of Houghton into the concrete at the exit of 11, and that puts him out of the race.
That's a shame right there.
Oh, man. Oh, Sean, the 44's out there, Adam. He's crashed in the tire barrier at the pit out. White flag in the air.
No.
Where does that? That puts Tattersall as the transfer driver.
That's a dramatic second to last lap right now. White flag is out as the cars we're watching are approaching the S's there.
There's another look. Oh, man.
Oh, it's hard to put any fault anywhere except for just the position of both those cars.
Yeah, there you see Houghton go for the inside move there in 10B. They're going to touch right there once, twice, and at the corner exit, they just get tagged, and I think Houghton was just chasing the car and turned around the 21. I'm sure they'll have a discussion about it afterwards, but it doesn't matter now for Chris Boersma. He's out of the race. Houghton is in as it stands. 9th place, Tattersall in 10th.
That's some hard driving, but yeah, it's really hard to put the exact blame there. Just an unfortunate incident for everybody involved.
Well, Jack Tranter started 6th in this race. Remember, he got a penalty that took him out of his heat race. He started in 6th. He leads now by 7.5 seconds. He's that good. He's going to have to fight a long way up through the field. He's going to start effectively 31st in this the feature race tonight, but he'll come down the hill, and Jack Tranter wins the last chance qualifier. Emil Tab in the winning Formula Miata. He'll come down the hill, and he'll take 2nd place. Colin McHugh in 3rd. Caleb Nichols in 4th. Aaron Lichty in his 38 comes home in 5th. And Stefan Waller, then Ryan Kristoff in 7th. Cavanaugh, Houghton, and Tattersall are the drivers that will transfer to the feature.
It took a little bit of luck, but we do have a solid field here for P1 through 10 in the end of the LCQ.
We lost half the cars in that race, so that wasn't exactly as clean as we've seen the previous couple LCQs, but we've got our 40 drivers lined up. Tranter wins this one. It'll put him 31st, and this will line up really 31st through 40th on our feature race grid. Now we race for 20 minutes here, Adam. This is it. This is the feature event that we're all waiting for.
20 minutes is a long race, so there's a lot of stuff that can happen here, especially with that many cars in the feature race.
Well, how long is 20 minutes? Well, GLTC only races for 15, and Eric Catil was able to gain 30 spots in race 2 in GLTC last August. So that's a long time, and it's enough, I think, for someone to come from the back of the field.
No, it's especially for a car for this power level at this track. 20 minutes, you can make a lot of things happen in 20 minutes at this track.
All right, so the starting lineup going to be on the left-hand side of your screen. It'll be Jeremy Swenson and DJ Alessandrini sharing that front row. Then Hartley, Hilly, Cobb, Cook, Casera, O'Gorman, Hausiel, and Elias Roman. Rest of your top 10. We're waiting for the field to grid. 20 minutes go on the board. There's a lot of cars all the way through 10B and into 11. There's James Houghton. He is on the last row, 39th place. A lot of cars in front of him. Pass.
It's a familiar place for him. He's been here many, many times, probably more than most of these drivers. But also new-ish to iRacing. He's used it in the past as a training tool, but now he's been getting serious, obviously, with the lockdown.
All right, Adam, here we go. 20 minutes. We're waiting for a couple more drivers to jump on the grid. Again, my name's Kyle Heyer from SimTV Broadcasting, here with Adam Jabay from GridLife for the GridLife iRacers Quarantine Cup, round number 3. Andrew Abbott and Ian Schaefer didn't look like they made it to the grid. So it'll be a 38-car race. Green flag flies. We're racing in round 3 of the GridLife iRacers Quarantine Cup. A bad start for Austin Cobb. He gets swarmed by Kenton Cook and Rob Casera as they run down to turn 1.
And P1 and P2, a nice clean entry into turn 1 right now. We'll see what happens. They're separate now just a little bit. Jeremy Swenson out front.
Oh, there goes Cobb off in turn 1. That'll be a hard hit to the tire barrier. That race over before it even started. Now the run into turn 3. 1, 2, 3. Swenson, Alessandrini, Hilly.
It almost looked like Cobb might not have gotten into the barrier. It's hard to tell.
We'll see if we can find him, but he is back rolling. And you're right. I think he got escaped without. Oh no, he did get it, and he got it pretty good.
A little kiss, just a slight kiss.
Leaders out of turn 5. Every inch of racetrack plus a little bit. O'Gorman sliding out of turn 5. Is he around? Yes, he is. Can he avoid getting slammed? No. Luke McGrew clobbers him as the exit of 5, and just like that, Luke's night is over. O'Gorman gonna have to wait for the entire field to drive on by.
Oh, that is a shame for both of them. Solid position for the race for both of them to start, but not so much anymore.
And I know he's going to be very disappointed with that run, but Jeremy Swenson has the lead now as we head down the back straightaway. Alessandrini, Hilly. Oh, I saw another car off in the background at the exit of 7. That was Stephen Walker in the number 5. Here comes
good clean racing at the front, but individual issues so far in the mid-pack. Luckily, we haven't seen a big kerfuffle like we did in the second race.
Oh, a bit dicey into 10A and 10B. Here comes Alessandrini up the inside. Will they leave each other enough space? Swenson out over the edge of the curb. A little bit of steering correction. Now look at this run down the hill.
Gets real rough when you get out to the left in turn 10B. But right now, Swenson left tires into the grass. Does he save it?
That was dicey. We're still 3 wide for 5th place. Into turn 1, they're going to cycle it out. Hartley now to 2nd with Hilly behind him. Alessandrini to the lead. Kenton Cook now middle 3 wide with Casera on the right. He backs out. Still has Swenson on the left as they jump the curb for turn 3.
This is a real battle for the first 5 right now. They're straightening out as they drop down the S's, but man, 3 cars wide into turn 3. It's always hairy.
Alessandrini kind of breaking away now, but he needs to gain over a second if he wants to break the draft. Hilly slideways through 5, going to be out in the gravel trap there at the exit of the corner. Can he save it and pull it back on course just in time?
Just barely keeps it alive there. We saw Houghton in one of the earlier races have a rough time in that area.
Running on board with Eric Catil. He started his race back at 11th spot, and battling now for 9th. He's got Elias Roman on the outside, make it for 8th place.
Catil always it seems like he's rarely involved in any incidents, so very heads up so far. We need perfection out of drivers, and that is a huge skill. If you can get away from all the incidents and just keep driving, if you pull that off, that's a huge asset, especially when you're in a 40-car field for a 20-minute race. Alessandrini
leads into 10A, and this will conclude lap number 2 here as soon as they head up the hill. Elias Roman stepping out of line right behind him. Blake Clements in the number 56. That's an HRX car. Then Pennington behind. A little bit of a touch there. Roman's going to go for a slip and a slide out into the gravel. That puts him outside the top 10.
Yeah, it's a rough spot to go off. Definitely sucks some time. Not the fast line.
No, look at all the momentum he lost. He's now down in 13th place. Jack Tranter won the LCQ. He started in 31st. He's gained spots up to 14th place.
Solid run in the first lap there.
Pennington and Clements trading spots for 9th. Up at the front, Al Sandorini, Hartley, and now Kenton Cook has moved into third. IMSA driver drives an Aston Martin GT4 in GT World Challenge America, or B Sport Racing, and here he is in third place right now in the GRIDLIFE iRacers Quarantine Cup after starting in sixth.
His former co-driver in IMSA, Tom O'Gorman, not having as good of a race. Kenton Cook keeping it clean up there at the front of the pack.
Tomo's still out here. Very minimal damage considering how hard Luke McGrew got the back of that car. He started 8th all the way back in 30th place now. We get to watch him climb through the field, but a lot of work to do, and it's not always super fun when your buddies are up front duking and diving.
Tomo's got the chops to run real fast, especially in this type of car at this track, but one little bobble, we need perfection out of, especially in a full field there at the opening of the race.
Cold tires kind of an issue on this car as well, so maybe some tire warming would have helped. Look at the field as they head down the back straight. Ooh, side by side for second. Here comes Cook. A bit of a close moment there with Hartley into the braking zone for 10A, and Swenson wants to look up the inside as well. He'll have it.
I've always said Tomo is the fastest driver I have personally seen in real life all around. He's so good at so many things, and I'm curious to see where he gets in the next 14, 15 minutes. This could be a fun one to watch.
Certainly could be. Look at the sliding and dicing for fifth spot right now. It's Casera right there, and actually that's for fourth. Casera, Hartley, Hausil, Hilly, and Eric Catil, again, just outside of the battle. He wants in it. As Cook puts pressure on Al Sandorini for the lead behind him. A little bit of trouble down in turn one for Drew Cleaver's 917. He'll drop out of the group.
You got 6 cars within 2 seconds there at the front. That is still a real good battle after 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes.
All right, Al, thank you. I was able to mute my mic on OBS before I did that, but a little bit of a sneeze, no big deal. 16 left in this race, and front two beginning to break away. If you're Al Sandorini and Kenton Cook, all you're trying to do now is just put gap on Jeremy Swenson to keep him out of the slipstream.
Yep, you got 14 minutes of work to do, and that work largely should just be driving as fast as you can, as clean as you can, and not battling each other. They can only slow themselves down by battling each other right now.
They're going over 115 miles an hour. It feels like you're going 45 with how long the straightaway is, but as they work their way down to 10A, these front two are going to continue to work together, so we're going to pull the cameras away for now. And how about a battle for 15th? That's Val DiPietro in the 102, Ryan Carwell. We haven't talked or seen these cars yet tonight. Here they are, slicing and dicing for a top 15 spot. Marcus Luttrell in the 92 up the inside, brake rotors glowing, bit of a slide. He'll correct it and continue.
Yeah, we've got no more transfer spot to talk about. We're looking for position for racing this one here.
There's Emil Tabb in the 14. Talk about positions. How about 32nd to 20th, plus 12 for him. Right behind him, Charles Boley. Bit of a jump over the turn 12 curb. 26th to 21st, so plus 5 for him.
Yeah, Emil Tabb and Brad Adams having a little bit of a dice there. We'll see how they end up in the next 12 minutes.
Tabb.
And it's just hard to kind of it's hard to even see the number.
It's on the windshield, which helps, but.
The livery takes your eyes and twists them around.
Certainly does. There's some gravel flying up off the rear of the 55. Someone's already been into the back of it. It's a little bit deformed and dented.
Oh, don't tell Brad that.
Now the run down to 6.
Clean line there right now as they're approaching 7, and a good run off of the good run off of 6, and Emil and Brad both had a nice solid run there.
Kenton Cook is just pushing DJ. The problem is
all over the back.
They have not been able to break away from 3rd and 4th behind him. They're still all tight together now, maybe even a tighter group than it was before.
Yeah, we're almost down into the halfway mark right now, and that is a really, really tight pack there for, P1 through, 8?
Yeah, that is all the way back down to Eric Catil in 8th place. So Justin Hilly's up to 7th. Then it's about 5 seconds back to Pennington and Clements. They're in a 2-car duo. Then Tranter, Roman, Lee, Hilbert, and DiPietro. That's that green car. That's 15th. Then Luttrell.
Tranter up to 11th. That is a solid run so far.
We knew it was going to be fast. That even impresses me, even knowing how good he was coming into the night. This is for 17th.
P1 through 8, though, that's still sort of anybody's race. We're not even halfway done. All these drivers very experienced with this track. It's going to take. It's still going to take a lot just to win this race and be out the very front because everybody is right there. 2 seconds or so.
Oh, there goes Adams off the bumper of, I think that was Drew Cleaver's 917. They're going to go both around. Oh no, that's a big mess at the top of the hill. Waxman's in it, and Emil Tab's in it.
Oh man, that's going to be a Facebook video for Brad Adams.
Oh man, there's a look, another view here. Cleaver
wish I had something. Wish I had something funny to say, so Brad could put it in the video.
Oh, what a mess! And there's Tom O'Gorman kind of getting a pile drive in there at the end, but this just comes. Drew Cleaver just couldn't get the car rotated in. Catches Brad Adams in the right rear. Then Adams spins back across the track. He spins back to the left, and then right here, this is where he's getting clobbered by Emil Tab, and then Waxman, and we're right on board with Tom O'Gorman as well as he drove into this. Here is his on board.
Yeah, driving into basically a no place to go area here. Not a lot you can do when everybody is out of shape. It's also a bad area to have a car get loose on you because you've got no inherent traction because the car is wanting to stay airborne almost. The track is dropping away from you.
Now there's damage to the front of that car, but Tomo has worked his way back to 20th. There's Ryan Kristoff, who we haven't talked about in a little bit. 37th to 21st, so plus 16 positions for Kristoff. Nick Nelson, who barely transferred in earlier, 29th to 22nd. So they are making use of their transfer positions, and good to see them having fun tonight and avoiding trouble for the most part.
Yeah, about 9 3/4 to go, and P1 through P8 so far so good. Good, clean, solid racing there. About a 7-second gap there separates Catil and Clemens.
Makes me nervous with that wall that close, how far you track out of turn number 5. I can't believe that hasn't changed. I mean, that wall's been pretty similar over there since this track was basically built.
Yeah, they started building. They put a lot of the walls in the 90s when they did all the renovations, added 10A, 10B. Before that, it was the gravity cavity on the bottom of the big straightaway, where basically you went wide open throttle down into a pit and then up that wall towards turn 12, that wall of a mountain almost. Yeah, all the it was tire walls, and then all the concrete came in as the spectators wanted to come in as well. So a little bit better viewing opportunities when you get security for the spectators, but also good opportunity to write a car off.
Yeah, I actually found some of those classic videos of Road Atlanta the other day, and I was just astonished at how chaotic that dive down was before they installed that chicane. I'd love if we had a classic version of this track in iRacing just to experience that again. But unfortunately, it's not quite how the sim works.
Talking to drivers in SCCA buddies, I was talking to Lee Grimes from Coney fame a while back, and he said it was utterly terrifying, even in an ITA car, which is kind of a lower level SCCA race car. Just wide open throttle, and you're on throttle for so long, and then the car just almost bottoms out entering the bottom of turn 10. Crazy track back in the day. More
trouble for Emil Tab. He's gone around. This is 10A. And I think this is also another issue here with Towton in the middle. Tab on entry was really slow. The 5 car was in too deep. They made contact, and I think Adam's got a piece of this as well. From bad to worse for those drivers.
Man, Jared Garcia is going to make a meme out of this one. I just know it.
I'm sure he will. For the lead, though, still the top 8 out of turn 7, all running nose to tail, and they're behaving right now, Adam. They're doing everything that Adam Jabay wants them to do. You get down to those last couple laps. We're about 5 minutes away from when I think we'll see chaos, but DJ setting up a gap. So is Kenton Cook trying to learn here? How much slipstream can he use, and how easily can he pass this 91?
We're seeing about a 9 to 10 second gap between P8 and P9. Catil to Tranter. Tranter up to 9, though. That is a solid run from almost to the very back of the pack up to P9. Quite a race. He's had a wild 13 minutes.
That's going to be almost as fun as starting up front and running up front. To just drive through everybody like they're stopped, that's got to be a blast. And you can ask Eric Catil about that. But down the hill, less than 7 minutes to go. We're basically well past the halfway point. At this point in the race, there's Catil up the inside of Hilly. That would put him 7th.
Good clean run down turn 12 there, and that pack has not separated one single bit. So it shows all the speed and the strength that this top 10 drivers that they do possess. Clean, solid racing. So this is really, I mean, it could almost be anybody's game here, P1 through P8.
And thanks to Finian, who's on another stream tonight, we got the specialty field drone cameras here and down the S's as well as in turn 6 and 7. So has that GLTC feel to it as Alessandrini comes out of turn number 5. And especially the field will have a bit more control over it than I do, but it's on a fixed radius here. But we come down into turn 6 and 1 through 8 all still together.
We will take what we can get. You might not be Matt Johnston, but you're not too far off, Kyle.
I tried. And into turn 7, look at Swenson right on the tailpipes of Kenton Cook. Oh, Hilly.
What a pack right there. What a pack.
Incredible.
That is solid looking. Especially after 15 minutes of running. With a standing start too. This is that's how you separate the perfection from the unfortunate right there. This upper pack is just running. What a great race so far.
Look at this. How about for third place? There's Swenson and Casera side by side. Cook taking a look at the lead. He'll back out, but for third, they're not done yet. Casera slots his way on through and pass complete. Nicely done.
That is a thing in beauty right there.
And behind him, here's Hartley and Halseal. Oh, that's tight. That's real tight.
Yeah, close quarters racing right now, but nothing but respect for all the drivers involved in this. This is a clinic of how to drive these cars on this track right now.
Hartley's going to run wide, and Catil sees an opportunity on driver's right up behind Halseal. And now Hilly drops in behind Hartley, or in front of Hartley rather, as they jump turn 3 and head down the hill again. Less than 5 minutes to go.
Just underneath 5 minutes as the beginning of the pack enters turn 5 zone. We will we'll know in maybe 4 minutes who's going to win, but maybe not even then.
I think we're going to know it in about 4 minutes and 30 seconds exactly right now. I think we'll know who's going to win this race. Here comes Casera up the inside. Cook goes defensive for second.
Can you put 8 cars wide at Road Atlanta? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, yes you can. Turn 12. Let's do it.
Yeah, just in one spot. Just for just a second right there.
When it gets narrowed down and by the flag started, I don't think you can do 8 wide there, so we're going to have to try that out. Meanwhile, Blake Clements has gone around. This is actually on the entrance to turn 6. That's kind of a weird place to have an accident. Here's a look. Was right behind Elias Roman, I believe. Yes, and they touch.
Touch just coming out onto that little straightaway there. Oh, what a hit there.
Big hit for that was I believe that was the 20 car. It was Eric Pennington that was that car. So that was an unfortunate accident in a weird spot on the racetrack. But Swenson dropping another spot to Halseal. I'm not sure if Swenson's using his tires a bit too much, getting him a little bit hot. We'll take a look at the weather. Track temp has continued to drop though, so I'm not sure if Swenson's just overdriven or if everyone else is just moving and going before he is.
Track temp's dropping more than I would imagine, especially with the sun peeking back out versus the last race.
And to take one last look at it, I think we're closer to the end of the day as well, if I recall correctly. So yeah. I think that's probably helping a bit.
Less intense sun.
Oh, that's going to be tight. Hilly and Swenson. But a door contact there. Oh, there they go. Hilly's going to slide, straighten it back out. He will save it. That was impressive.
Wow. Hopefully no damage to the actual rubber itself.
Well, that's about as much as you can crash without actually crashing, I think.
Yes, Swenson got into the front left of that car, but with any luck, Hilly will be able to continue on.
Well, that did separate the groups quite significantly. So there's Alessandrini and Kenton Cook, put Rob Casera in that group, then Halseal and Catil, and then Hartley's back 1.7. So that's kind of separated the top 5 from the rest of the group. Meanwhile, deeper in the field, there's the 53 of Kevin Lee, Charles Boley, and Bob Casera.
2 minutes, 30 seconds roughly to go. And as we follow Bob Casera here, approaching the bend that is turn 7 and then onto that big straightaway.
So we'll be coming to 2 laps to go. You see Kevin Lee missed the apex in 7 slightly. It will jump back to the front as they head to 10A, 10B. 2 laps left at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for GRIDLIFE iRacers Quarantine Cup, round number 3 of 4. If you thought this track was fast, we go to Road America next week. That's the National Park of Speed, Adam, and that's where we're going to finish everything out.
Yeah, one of America's dyno tracks. We got a lot of miles per hour at that place.
Kenton Cook giving DJ a bit of a push down into turn 1. And look at Casera up the inside for second place.
Quite a battle here right now for the podium.
I think you want to be second. I don't know if you want to be third or fourth or fifth or even leading. I think you want to be in that second spot. And Casera's got to pass the Pepto-Bismol car of Kenton Cook to get the job done.
Yeah, Kenton Cook, probably not an easy person to pass either. He's probably one of those drivers that is in a real car, in a virtual car, more than just about anywhere. That's how he makes his living. And we will see in, about 3 miles.
Oh, 4 wide at the exit of 1 for a moment. That's looks like Bob Casera, Charles Boley, and Tom O'Gorman back up to 16th place. If he passes the 53 car, that'll put him top 15 after dropping to 30th on lap number 1.
It's a solid run there with the unfortunate incidents that he's had.
All things considered, not a bad night.
Yeah, not a bad way to finish it out after that.
Ooh, Kevin Lee, big slide at the exit of 5. Tomo's going to go on through. He's actually got a few more spots in front of him. If these guys start battling, I'm sure Tomo can get there. He's actually won at this racetrack in Michelin Pilot Challenge back in 2018 in his Audi RS3 TCR. For second place, here comes Casera up the outside, driver's right. And for the lead, a bit of a touch there with DJ Alessandrini. Big slide. Here comes Ken Seal. Opportunistic move, 3 wide in turn 11. That ain't going to work. They somehow get it sorted. Oh, Seal for the lead. They touch again. Oh, that's going to be a mess. Big drift, white flag.
1 to go, and I still don't know who I would call this one for.
Oh, man, I can't believe how Seal got away with that. Was a big course cut down there in 12. Going to be real tight between Cook and Casera. Eric Catil stuck behind him. Needs to find a way around.
Yeah, Eric kind of looking at the back of a lot of cars, and they're multiple cars wide sometimes. Not a lot of places to go.
DJ was off track for a moment, dropped a couple wheels in the dirt at the exit of 3. Seal back 0.3 of a second. He's in the perfect spot. Rob Casera tried to take the lead away and wasn't able to do it. Kenton Cook fighting the car at the exit of 5.
Last lap of quite a hard-fought race here for the upper pack. Right now we're seeing P1 through 5, P1, 2, 3, kind of 4 even within striking distance if there is any bobble. But what a clean race so far. DJ Alessandrini out front.
Oh, DJ let off the throttle. He backed up a little bit, so that left Ken Seal without a big slipstream here. He's going to tuck back in line. That was an expert move by DJ. I'm not sure if it's going to totally work, but if he had just pulled away, it would have given Ken a much bigger draft. Drag race down the backstretch now. It's now the race to 10A and 10B. Whoever comes out of there, the leader, will likely win this race. Seal on driver's right, DJ on driver's left, make it the middle. Here comes Rob Casera, 3 wide as they head down to 10A. This is not going to work. They got to get this sorted. Casera late on the brakes into 10A. Cut through 10A. Here comes Seal back up the outside. Casera cuts. Seal spins. Everybody's wrecking. Kenton Cook through to the lead. Catil in second. Drag race down the hill to 12. And checkered flag waves. Here they come. Kenton Cook and Eric Catil. Drag race. Cook gets it by a nose.
I thought we'd see actually Alessandrini come out of there better off than that, because he had a great line through the left-hand side of 10A, but unfortunate to see the end of his solid race end that way.
Wow. That was crazy. We will go back and look. We're doing more 3 wide here midfield. That's Val DiPietro up the middle, Ryan Carwile on the inside, Ray Hilbert on the outside. And through to the checkers, Luttrell 11th, Hilbert 12th, DiPietro 13th, Carwile 14th. Kenton Cook celebrating. That was wild.
Yeah, that was an end of a race right there.
We're gonna go back and look at that because I think we all need to take a deep breath. There's a lot of smoke over there as well.
Yeah, there was some pixelation in on my end, so I'm actually kind of curious to see it again.
All right, let's go back and look at it here as they came down through turn number 10A. Look at it from a couple different angles. So Casera comes back on track and tags the 23, and that's really where that all starts. We'll go back and look at this again, but just want to catch the finish. And Catil just chucks it over the curb here, tries to get it to the line. And your margin of victory, how about a cool 75 thousandths of a second?
Really, really good effort there for Catil. Just about had it, too.
All right, here's one last look. And Rob Casera up the inside. Gave it a good launch down here, but he's in way too deep, and I think he knows that.
Way too deep. Too deep, yeah.
And so he went too deep, and right here he's going to track out to 10B, come back on track, and he's going to clip the 23 of Ken Seal right there. And DJ kind of gets this as well, and that's going to leave Kenton Cook to come on through. DJ just squeezes on by. Jeremy Swenson and Hartley were able to go through to grab 3rd and 4th. But now we're going to ride on board with Eric Catil and watch everything that he watched from his view.
Perfect location here for him. He just sees all this chaos, and it's just nothing but turn 12 for him for advantage.
I think he sees Casera go in deep, and he sets up hard left, hard right, clears out. The seas part, and now he just has to get by the Pepto-Bismol magenta pink car of Kenton Cook, and he sees this curb on the right. Track limit, what limit? Here he goes.
All the way into the right there.
Oh, look at the steering. Oh, man.
Oh, so close. So close.
And as they came across the line, this is what the last corner looked like. I mean, are you kidding me? This is epic stuff right here.
It's so good. What a great end to a race. Well, at least for the ones up front. I feel real bad for some of the drivers who lost a hard-fought race there. And man, Kenton Cook just stays inside track limits there until the very, very end.
All right, here's a look at your race results, your unofficial results. Kenton Cook, your winner. He led one lap, and it was the last one. The only one that matters.
Yeah, what a wild last lap.
Tom O'Gorman.
A wild last two turns.
Tom O'Gorman was about 0.2 shy of a top 15 result as well. So that will put him in 16th place. Kevin Lee 17th. Christoph 18th. James Houghton comes back in 22nd. Brad Adams 25th. Aaron Lichty down in 32nd. Emil Tab in 33rd. Waxman 34th. Austin Cobb 36th with his off in turn number 1. But the top two separated by 75 thousandths of a second. That was mighty close there, Adam. We're going to jump to break just for a minute to grab your top 3 to talk to, and maybe Alessandrini as well. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back live to GRIDLIFE iRacers Quarantine Cup. We're now here with our second place finisher, Eric Cattell, in the number 82 Auto Assets MX-5. Eric, that was kind of wild. I think you were 5th or 6th coming down the hill towards 10A. A drag race in line with Kenton Cook. 75 thousandths of a second was the margin.
Unreal.
Walk us through the finish.
Close. Well, first of all, it's been a while since I've been in this booth. Been a little bit, but yeah, I mean, today I didn't really practice. I wasn't really putting a lot of laps into this, and it kind of, I don't know how this happened. I finished second, but I guess it's a little bit of luck. But throughout the whole race, me and Ken, we had this train going. I just kept pushing him wherever we went, and we were just knocking positions off one by one. And then in 10A, I think I was 5th, and then they all kind of wrecked each other, and then it was me versus Kenton at the end. So yeah, me and Kenton were both a little bit tipsy on some margaritas. You know, it is May 4th. So I don't know. I think it was an awesome race. It was fun.
I think it's actually May 5, but we, depending on how many margaritas you had.
Oh yeah, it is. Dude, I lose track of these days, man. Every day is the same now.
And we got a lot of Tuesdays in a row, you know.
Yeah, it's still Sunday for me.
Yeah, solid drive there at the end. You really put yourself.
Awesome.
You were just the exact right spot entering turn 10A.
Yeah, I kind of messed up turn 5, I think, so I had a little bit of a gap, but I figured it would kind of work out well because I was sure they were going to battle up front. I didn't want to be anywhere near that mess.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to have to run down through after that. So.
Yeah, it sucks those guys got taken out, but
Super clean race up front. Yeah, we've been talking the entire race about P1 through P8 being it was you guys were within 2 seconds of each other just about for the entire 20 minutes. So you had yourself in just the right spot there, right at the back, and just kind of get to observe the chaos.
it was intense because trying to keep up with those guys, even with the draft, like I was focusing and trying to drive 11/10 out there, so it was very difficult. Those guys are crazy good. Like I don't know how they run those lap times up front without the draft, but they're smart. Like they work together. I know Kenton and DJ worked together a little bit to kind of stay in the lead, and then that all fell apart with about a lap to go.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, that was a lot of fun to watch you run that, and 75 thousandths of a second was the margin. Big congrats to you. That looked like a lot of fun.
It was so close. I had to send it over the curb, try to get him, but
awesome
good job, Kenton, winning. Hey, thanks, guys, for broadcasting. That was awesome. I can't wait to watch this.
All right, Eric, have a good one. We'll see you later.
Thanks, bye.
All right, we'll talk now with Kenton Cook, the race winner tonight. Kenton, 3 wide outside, and bam, smash, crash, on your way through to the win. Down in turn 12, had Eric Till throw a Hail Mary up the inside. Walk us through your final moments as you crested the hill in 11.
I need to have a margarita before I drive more often. But no, tonight was just good fun, and yeah, holy crap, was that an insane race there. It was. I wasn't sure what the heck was going to happen. The second I saw them go 3 wide, well, I mean, honestly, I had a plan in my head with 2 laps to go, but that went out the window the second I got passed by Robert, and I was like, well, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, but oh man, that was fun. Yeah. I mean, it's fun when you win, but it's just fun racing, period. But yeah, I got lucky with that one to be in the right place, right time, to be able to take advantage of that. So yeah, that was cool.
Very nicely done. That last turn going down 12, Catil just about had the inside line on you, but you kept one wheel on the pavement there as you crossed the line. Very nicely done.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, Kenton Cook, race winner. We got one more driver to talk to. That will be 3rd place Jeremy Swenson, who somehow made it through all the calamity in the final couple of corners. Jeremy, podium finish for you in GRIDLIFE iRacers Quarantine Cup, round number 3. Walk us through your view the last lap.
We were on damage control at that point. I think I was in 6th or something, and so I was just hoping to stay ahead of whoever was Cobb or whoever I was racing, and was able to stay in front of him, and then saw smoke and just drove through it and got lucky. I'm not so lucky a little before that, though.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah, it pays off sometimes,
Yeah, that's right.
Jeremy, I want to know the mindset there. It looks like you had some pretty significant right front damage from some earlier contact. Was that affecting your drive at all, or the steering? Was that all knocked out of shape, or was it an okay condition other than maybe a little bit more drag?
Yeah, just a little bit of drag. The steering was fine. Handling was fine. Just not as fast on the straights. That was my fault. I was getting freight trained there for a couple guys went around me. There's not much I could do. And then Hilly and I got in a little contact, and he hit me a little bit, and then I lost the front and got in the side of him. And so I was pretty upset about that. But so was he, obviously. And anyway, managed to still stay on track and keep going.
Jeremy, congratulations. Podium result. We'll see you next week at Road America.
Meh. Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we have Abe with us tonight. I was going to drag him in earlier, but we had some technical issues that didn't allow me to do that. So, Abe, welcome. I'm sure you were probably watching at home. How about your perspective of the end of that race? Was it wild for you, or did you catch the end?
Oh, I saw actually the entire broadcast. In terms of competition, this is probably the closest of any of the 3 events that I've seen this year, with so much of the field really just within a second or 2 of each other. We talked a lot about how important the draft was during these races, but moving on to Road America, I think it's just going to get amplified even more. And I'm really eager to see what round 4 shakes out to look like.
And actually, that brings me to a perfect point. We're just about to wrap things up here. Here's a look at your schedule. We've completed 3 of the 4 rounds of the GridLife iRacers Quarantine Cup Series. We'll head to the National Park of Speed next week in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. That is Road America, the 4.0-mile road course that is as fast as it is daunting, especially heading through the kink there, Adam. It's a spectacular facility. And in an MX-5, you're on throttle for about 96% of the lap around there.
Yeah, just about all of it. That track does not need a lot of slowing down. You stay just onto the curbs, but not all the way onto them. Huge straightaway. That's going to be it's going to be one long one approaching that start-finish stand into turn 1. It probably feels like about 2 miles in an MX-5.
So I think that's going to wrap things up here. Again, join us next week for round number 4, the season finale of GridLife iRacers Quarantine Cup Series. If you're brand new to GridLife Gaming, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel for more content like this. Little Birdie tells me there is some more things on the way, so make sure you hit subscribe there. If you're on Twitch, make sure you follow on Twitch. If you're on Facebook, probably already like the page, but if you haven't, do it, because we got lots of things coming up, of course, virtual, and at some point, real racing will return to GridLife, Adam, so I'm sure you can probably speak to more about that, but I'm not going to speculate. I just know that I want to be back at a racetrack, and we all do too.
We'll cross all of our fingers, cross all of our toes, cross our streams, whatever we got,
All right, we'll make sure we can do that. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks, Abe, for jumping in here at the end. Thanks, Adam, for joining me, and we'll see you again for round number 4 of GridLife iRacers Quarantine Cup Series. If you liked what you watched, make sure to head over to simtvbroadcasting.com to see more. We'll see you later. Have a wonderful night. See you next time at Road America.
Great job, buddy.